Hope you're all doing okay in the current crisis. I've been looking for some support and help and advice over social media and Facebook in particular over recent days. There's a lot of people posting at the moment and Facebook Lives and things like that, and there's some really good information out there, but I've been struggling to find information specific, practical information specific to property investors like you and I. So as a property investor, first and foremost, as well as the owner of a property management company, I thought I'd share with you what we have been doing as property investors in order to respond and prepare for the upcoming changes that will be resulting from the current situation. So the first thing, I guess, to reiterate is don't panic. Things are changing on a day-to-day, if not hourly basis, but I think panic is the worst thing that we can do. I'm going to concentrate primarily on property investing, so I'm not going to cover global economic changes or stock market crashes or even health advice. That's very different from what I want to share with you. So as a property investor, I think the very first thing would be a good idea to do is review your current portfolio. So what we've been doing is looking at all the properties we currently own. We're looking at what mortgages we've got in place, how much those mortgages are costing us on a month-by-month basis, and what our overall monthly exposure would be if the worst were to happen, which is all of our tenants stop paying rent all in the same month. What would that exposure look like? We're also then looking at what insurance policies we have in place as well. So if we've got rent protection in place, digging out those policies, reading the small print, finding out when and how you can make a claim, even if you're covered under this current crisis. It might be some policies have something called a force majeure or an act of God sort of aspect to it, which is basically for completely unforeseen, out of the blue circumstances as we're currently in. There may be some restrictions around that. So I think the first thing to do is get information together and understand your current portfolio, so you know where you stand financially and what your financial exposure is. We've seen in the news recently that mortgage companies are looking to offer repayment holidays to property owners. So again, it would be worth looking into that. Having dealt with insurance company today, I can tell you that by phoning in, they're completely inundated with phone calls. So the best way, if you possibly can, is to get your information online, certainly in the first instance. My other suggestion would be as well, to help reduce the panic, the fear and the uncertainty, is not to spend too long watching dozens and dozens of different news programmes or going on lots of different Facebook forums. There's also a lot of misinformation out there. So given my background working in regulation for a FTSE 100 company for nearly 20 years, what I've learned is that the primary source of information is always the government. So the best advice I can give you is to make sure that you watch the 5 o'clock briefings that the Prime Minister gives every day, and then also look at the government website for any supporting information that they issue from that point going forwards. So I hope this is some first steps, practical things that you can do to actually understand your current situation and to get ready for the current storm.